What's next? And is there any way to preserve it or what's left of it? Joining me now live over Zoom to talk about it all is Matthew Craig. He's with the Young Preservationists Association. Matthew, what did you first think when you heard the news?
Well, it's a great question, Meghan. It's nice to be with you again. Honestly, my very first thought was thankfulness that nobody was hurt or injured. That's the very first place that we have to go in a situation like this. But the loss does feel personal for the Young Preservationists. We did host an event there right after I was hired as the executive director, and we were in the welcome center of there's a nice picture. The welcoming center there for the Southside Chamber of Commerce. And it was a wonderful place. It was very welcoming. And to see it, this part of the architectural history of Pittsburgh lost in such a dramatic way is very sobering.
We've talked a lot about how old the building is, but what can you tell us about the historical or the architectural significance of that specific building?
That's a great question. It's considered part of the Second Empire architecture. And as you mentioned at the beginning, we estimate that it's about 140 years old. The architect was well, not sure who the architect was, but originally it was a grocery store owned by a guy named Andrew Brehm. And that would have been in 1879, 1880. And it's like many Victorian era buildings that we have on the south side that really adds a unique character to what used to be called Birmingham. It used to be a separate entity from the city of Pittsburgh. Just like on the north side, that used to be Allegheny City. It was eventually brought into the city of Pittsburgh as Pittsburgh grew. But I think that this gives us a great opportunity to have a conversation now about what we think should happen next. And the Young Preservationists would like to get involved in kind of helping people understand the historical significance of the South Side. So when weather warms up a little bit, we're going to be sponsoring a walking tour so people can come join us and we can really enlighten folks to have a deeper sense of an appreciation on the great history that still is there, but also the history that just was lost because of this fire.
The location is such a key location, right? The entrance to the South Side, they have the Welcome to South Side sign across the street for anyone that's familiar. What would you like to see be there down the line?
That's a great question, because since we can't preserve the building, it really would take a conversation about what would look like it belongs there. You know, if you put a steel and glass tower, that's really going to kind of not meet the sort of historical legacy that sits on that part of Pittsburgh. So we would like to have a conversation, and we have access to the very best people in the city to come together and talk about how we can move forward by putting something on that location that looks like it had always belonged there. Something that would reference the building that was lost, and something that could add to the historic fabric of that part of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and blend in with the aesthetic. Matthew, thank you for taking time for us tonight and for offering your knowledge on this matter.